Women, like some of the advice we get is so stupid. Today's episode almost didn't happen. Really? It's so hard. Okay, these are happy tears. Limping to get you through the day, which is garbage advice.
Hey guys, forgot to record the intro and outro to my podcast like a true professional, so I'm overdubbing real quick to let you know that the Happy Tears podcast is encouraging, inspiring, uplifting. It's a comedy show, so let's dive into an episode where I start crying not once, but twice.
Greetings, it's your girl Kelsey, rom-com author, comedian, podcaster, vlogger, compulsive oversharer, bestie, back with another episode of the Happy Tears comedy podcast, and I'm ticked. So everybody just buckle up. If this is your first time watching, I'm glad you're tuning in today because we're talking about something important, which is garbage advice on the internet that I'm happy to pick apart one by one, just one listicle at a time. So I think you will find this encouraging, motivating, inspiring, comforting. But I want to just be right up front. We'll just start with an overshare in that today's episode almost didn't happen because I am over it. We had the plague in our family. I launched a book. There's always a little bit of like depression after you launch a big project because it's like go, 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 go. And then it's out and it's like, okay, time to write the next book. I talked about this more in detail my whole life the past couple weeks in my vlog. If you're not watching the vlog, you're missing out. It's a good time. And I've been spending more effort on my vlog videos and my writing tips videos, having a lot of fun chatting with other writers, other authors. And so the little podcast this Happy Tears podcast, I'm just not sure that people are loving it. Not sure you guys want me to continue with these. And just with after having a couple rough set of weeks, I was just kind of like, I don't know that I need to be out here doing this, need to be saying anything. But then, then I went and I found, I was like looking at content and things that people are saying and what's going on. And one idea I had was to talk about routines. And someone actually asked me in one of the vlogs about our family routine. And I just found some things that just made me angry. So, what better way to start a podcast than just to be ticked off? I got my laptop here. I'm going to enlighten everyone to dive into some of the highly recommended success habits for women and moms and working moms, busy moms. Here are some things, habits that we should have. Okay. Number one, dress up. Nope. I'm already mad. Dress for the job you want. Or like some of the homeschool moms are like, dress up to show you take your job seriously. Let me tell you something right now. I am a productive machine, a great mom, a good wife, writing thousands of words a day in my sweatpants. Usually not even wearing mascara. I do maintain my self-tanner routine. I just feel like women, like some of the advice we get is so stupid. Do you think anyone was telling Steve Jobs, like, Steve, you really should start wearing some suits? No one is telling men that. All of you watching right now, your husbands have the same shirt in 3 different colors, and that's their entire wardrobe. Am I wrong? Nobody cares. Good for them. Meanwhile, for women, it's like, that's so last year. What are you even thinking? That is so 2022. That just makes me mad right off the bat too. Like that we need to like put on a fresh face and we need to dress cute. Now, do I feel a little bit better if I take off my crappy sweatpants and put on my nice sweatpants? Do I feel a little bit better? Yeah, probably. Do I feel a little bit better with some makeup on? Sure. But enough that every morning I need to take some of my precious brain space. This is the thing. If you're young, your brain's doing fine. If you're 35 or you've had a lot of children, your brain is just limping to get you through the day. It can't carry everything anymore. It can't handle it all. It can't hold it all. And you're asking it to add on, well, what did I wear yesterday? And what should I wear? What will they think if they see me at the car line? You know what they're thinking at the car line? They're wondering how fast their kids can get out of the car so that they can go get themselves a coffee. Or they're worrying that you don't see them because they didn't put a bra on. if you're someone who really, really performs better, and obviously people have to go into work. If you have to go into the office, there's like a dress code. Okay. Put on some makeup, tie your hair back, put on a nice outfit for work or whatever. But again, like Steve Jobs went into the office every day wearing the same thing. Like, get yourself a uniform that you like and then just wear it. If you love fashion and you love accessorizing and you love, like, I like to come up with fun outfits. I like to accessorize. I like to look at what other fashion-y people are wearing for church on Sundays. That is, that's my outing where I joined a co-working space, which I talked about in the vlog. I will have to actually see other business women like once or twice a month. I'm going to try to be cute. I'm going to try to get out of the sweatpants for that. All of these listicles of like highly effective habits of women in their 30s, professional women, working moms, busy moms, productive moms. We're starting right off the bat with makeup and clothes? Really? I have crushed it in pajamas. And so many other moms do too. And so many other women who work from home do too. Now, if you feel like you are depressed and it's showing up in what you're wearing, that's different. But if you're getting on there and like you're taking calls, you're doing Zooms with your business on the top, garbage troll on the bottom, if you are, getting those kids to and from school, you're making dinners, you're hitting your deadlines, you're doing everything you need to do, and you are comfortable and not thinking about your clothes, you are a highly successful person, and it doesn't matter what you wear, and it doesn't matter if you're wearing makeup. Okay. Whew. Starting right off the bat. Okay, what else? Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe I just don't like these few people. Because obviously, another one. Wake up before your kids. Really? Because my son was up at 5. My son was up at 5. What time do you want me to get up, Ashley? Kinsey? Larissa? You want me to get up at 4 to be highly productive? Like, there are times in our lives where we're not waking up before the kids. Or on the flip side, stay up later and get everything done after the kids go to bed. No, I'm tired. That's a hard pass. That is a hard pass. It is really bad on your brain to not get sleep, and men need less sleep than women. So my husband usually gets up with the baby and he gets less sleep than me, and we're all happier for it. You can take the wake up before your kids advice and just put it in the eventually column. Like, maybe if everyone's sleeping until 7:30, yeah, get up at 7. Okay. Another thing, a lot of this talking about multitasking. That, when you're driving, when you're cleaning, you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to audiobooks, or you could just be present. Like, let me tell you this. And again, I am not like a super feminist. Like, I hate all the, there is a double standard with men and women, but I do think men and women have different roles. My husband is the leader of our household. I submit to him. I am the one who does almost all the domestic stuff, but he helps. I mean, he's not like not engaged, but I mean, we have traditional family roles, and I like it that way. But I do think there's some different stuff happening with the listicles for men versus women, like I've already said with Steve Jobs. When I had my talk show back in the olden times here on this channel, one of the people I interviewed was Seth Godin. If you don't know who that is, he's written, I think, 20 books now, marketing books, okay? One of the greatest minds of our time when it comes to studying human behavior, motivations, the marketplace, how to do marketing, how to grab attention, keep attention. Like, a great business mind, but really he's a great business mind because he was a great study of human beings and people. And when I interviewed him, I asked him about like staying motivated, writing every day, all of what are his routines and his processes to crank out book after book. And he sends an email every single day, I think it is, with a paragraph that he sends out to his hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Guess what his routine is, guys? Guess what he does? The next point is great, but I have to stop first and remind you that the Happy Tears podcast is brought to you by my books. Please buy them. Happy Christmas is out right now. Ebook, paperback, special edition, illustrated hardcover that you can get on my website, and audiobook. This is my first time to have an audiobook come out at the same time as the rest all the different options. Normally it's a couple years later or months later when I can afford to invest the money into an audio edition of the book. And so I'm trying it this time. I'm testing it out, how it works, having the audiobook available at the same time. But that's great news because a lot of you I know are audio girlies and you prefer to listen to your books. Right now, I would like for you to go listen to Happy Christmas. Their story starts in October. So if you're watching this today, when it comes out in October, hear me when I say that it has all the fall vibes. You get to go through Halloween and Thanksgiving and then Christmas. So get Happy Christmas everywhere right now, on Amazon, on my website, on Audible. I also want to tell you that if you're an aspiring writer, I've been putting out writing tips on this channel. I've been doing my own 90-day writing challenge on my vlogs that you should watch. And if you're interested in working with me, I have a waiting list right now, kelseyhumphreys.com/writing. So go sign up there if you're interested in working with me on your own fiction books. People have been asking me a lot of questions. We're having some great discussions on those videos on this channel. So thank you all for your support. Go buy my books. Let's get back to the next tip. Guess what his routine is, guys? Guess what he does? He walks for 2 hours a day around New York City. Now, I don't know if this is still, but you can go back and watch my interview with him. He walks for 2 hours a day and notices things. He's not told to multitask. He's not trying to shove a parenting book and a self-help podcast into his brain while walking. He would tell you to give your brain space to wander. He would go walking without his phone, without anyone with him, a cup of coffee, him and the out of doors and the city around him. I mean, that is hard to comprehend. I have trouble unplugging for 5 minutes. I have trouble going on a walk or going on a commute and just listening to music. I want to make it a time where I'm productive. I'm listening to something, I'm learning, I'm growing. Maybe we can learn and grow by just being in one place at a time and doing one thing at a time, right? I mean, I know that this is not life-changing, but I needed to hear this when I was younger. Like when I was just constantly go, pushing. But like I said last week, if you're not present in the moment, you miss the moments and then you don't have any memories and it messes everything up in the future. That's another stupid advice, highly successful. Now I'd like to change over to some good ones. Movement every day, great habit. Trying to make yourself stick to a workout routine if you have tiny kids may not be feasible for you. If your kids aren't sleeping, if you're waking up throughout the night, going for a walk with a weighted vest in the stroller for 20 minutes, you're done. You're good. Like movement is a good routine of highly successful people. I would like to get for myself a walking pad because I'm not moving very much right now because I do feel kind of strapped for time. And so I wish I had a walking pad so I could write and walk at the same time. But this is my office. I'm not really sure where I'd put that. I'm not actually sure where that would go, but it's a nice idea. Okay, habit stacking is a good habit to have. Chalene Johnson is one of my friend tours, and she talks about this a lot. If you're washing your face at night, then make sure you have your nighttime supplements, if you take pills at night, sitting right there next to your face wash. Like, make it easy for you to stack habits on top of each other. Can you add habit stacks on family time? Family habit stacking, for example, I've talked about in past episodes, reading aloud together or having go around the table, so say something you're grateful for, something fun that happened that day, whatever you can add on. For us, we have a lot of habits stacked right on top of dinner time because we have no morning habits, honestly. So this was one of the questions that I got on one of my vlog videos, was about how our family gets out the door so quickly. The answer to that is that we do everything the night before. So right after dinner, everybody's brushing their teeth and they're getting ready and dressed as much as they can in their clothes for the next morning. And anything that needs to go in their backpack or set in the mudroom gets done at night. We are not running around doing things in the morning. And so in the morning, they wake up as late as I can do it because I want them to sleep. Sleep is so important. So we wake up as late as we can. I already have their water bottles and their backpacks in the car. We sit and eat a hot breakfast together. They put on their socks and shoes. We eat, they brush their teeth, we leave. The only way this happens is because the night before we have stacked, we're gonna eat dinner, then everyone's gonna brush their teeth, we're gonna have Bible time, we're gonna get dressed for the next day, and we're going to put anything we need for the next day in our backpacks and in the mudroom or in the car the night before. So that's an example of family habit stacking, having a morning hug routine and a nighttime, bedtime routine of a hug or a story. I just recently started asking the little ones, what do you want to dream about tonight? And that is a small thing. It's one sentence, but I feel like it gets them happy right before they fall asleep. We don't have tons of trouble anymore with nightmares, but we used to. And it's also just something warm and fuzzy because I've already done the hug, good night, kiss good night, tell them I love them, which we always do. But I was trying to add something positive on because honestly, I'm spread very thin and I don't have a lot of time with each child, which is another thing. I don't want to hear advice where people are like, I was in the middle of the thick of it, homeschooling. Everyone's behavior was rough. We were trying to bond as a family. I stumbled upon this video that was like, hey, I can solve all of your parenting problems if you will just spend 1 hour of one-on-one time with each child. Bro, that's 6 hours of my day. And some of the people that I consider to have the most successful, beautiful families, at least from what I can tell from the outside looking in, have like 9 kids. They're not doing one-on-one time for an hour with each kid each day. Just keep that in mind. All the advice that we get out there is just too cookie cutter. It's too clickbaity and cute looking and Pinteresty and Instagrammy. And then you feel like a turd because you've been wearing the same sweatpants for 3 days. Hey, are you keeping the little kids alive? Are you making them feel loved and safe and helping them learn their ABCs in those sweatpants? You're a freaking rock star. You're a freaking rock star. Okay, so what have we said so far? We've said that movement every day is a good idea. Habit stacking is a good idea. If you're married, you have to have a routine that prioritizes your marriage. So we've always been an early bedtime family. Our kids go to bed early and the older kids have their own like, hey guys, you can play upstairs in the playroom or out back right now, but whatever you want to do, like the living room is fine too, but find yourself a board game or something to do because we are no longer available. We're going to sit and we're going to be in our room, in our recliners, just trying to decompress and feel like human beings again for a little bit before we all go to bed. And we have always been an early bedtime family, but as kids get older, obviously you're not going to put a 12-year-old to bed at 7 p.m. anymore, but you can still set them up with, hey, you guys go play Nintendo together or go outside and play basketball or whatever. The key that I want you to hear is that if you're married, you got to have some routines for your marriage. And that is something that if you're watching a lot of like routines of successful women who are crushing it, vlogs and YouTubes and Instagrams and stuff, and they're not married, it's not going to look the same because they're like doing a 16-step skincare routine between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. when you need to be with your husband between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. maybe. I've talked a lot about keeping promises to yourself. That's definitely a habit of highly effective people. I've also talked about finding mentors. And I think that mentorship and finding people to look up to is something we only really talk about in like the business space. But I think the church actually used to do this really well and we don't anymore. It used to be like little old ladies really took care of new moms and young families. They were very involved and very engaged in like potlucks and calling if they didn't see you at church. Like they were kind of all up in your business, which is annoying, but also it was like community and they were looking out for young moms and helping. And I'm not saying this is the older generation's fault. I think this is just churches have changed. Church culture has changed. Everything has changed where we don't have that anymore. If you can find that, for a while in our church life, we were in a small group with a bunch of old people and I loved it. I loved it. Because we were sitting around chatting and everyone around us was so wise and they had adult kids. And I was just like absorbing their wisdom. Find a mom, a grandma, an aunt, somebody that you can go for walks with or go for lunch with once a quarter, once a month, and just say like, hey, I messaged someone on Facebook that is a friend of a friend, actually my mom's friend, and she has 6 kids. And she posted a 4th of July picture with all 6 of her adult children and their spouses in 4th of July matching shirts. And I cried. My mom sent it to me. She was like, this is your future. And I cried. So I messaged her and I said, hey, you have achieved the goal. You are the champion at the finish line or one of the finish lines. There's never a finish line in parenting, but one of those things that I was like, I want that. I want my 6 adult children and their spouses to come home to celebrate together, to be friends, for them to all put on the dorky t-shirt I buy. Like, how did you do that? And then we messaged back and forth and chatted, and I'm sure I'll message her again many times. So finding a mentor is definitely something that is a habit of highly successful women that I think doesn't suck, and we should do it. Even if you're not in like the business, entrepreneurship, career type space. Okay, this is something I talk a lot more about in my vlogs and my writing tip videos, but this is something I think applies to everyone. And that is a habit of highly successful women is that they're not getting cute with it. And what I mean by that is if you have something to do, it doesn't need to be the cute Pinterest version of that. Okay. So for example, let's say like one of the things we do as a family is monthly calendars. Cause I have, as I've talked about in previous episodes, I no longer trust my brain to remember anything. And so I have multiple calendars around the house, and one of them is a big family calendar, and we sit and do them together, and the kids love that. But guess what? It is a mess, okay? It's not cute. Pinterest, what they come up with doesn't make any sense. It's not like they're learning their days. I'm not making it a learning activity. I probably should, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, what month comes after October? Okay, I'm not doing that. We're just dumping out all of these like hodgepodge stickers from all the sticker books I've ever owned, because I never get rid of anything when it comes to craft supplies, because eventually we end up using it. Thank you. This is one of those things that it's not cute. It's not a learning activity. It's a mess. The end result is an okay-ish calendar for me, an okay-ish calendar for my older daughter, and then the little girls just have a sticker palooza party. And my son just stopped doing it. He was like, I don't really want to do that. And I'm like, okay. Let's say your child is begging to bake cookies. Somewhere along the line, someone lied to us and said that baking with your children would be fun, and that baking with your children would be a memory and a cute, happy experience. It's none of those things, which is why I don't really do it. We don't really bake much here because I don't like baking. And if I don't like it, then I'm definitely not going to like it with 5 children trying. Why would I would never eat that. The fingers, the mess that I would then have to clean. No, thank you. But if you are a loving mom who wants to bake and they've been asking to do it, don't expect it to be cute, perfect, fun, peaceful. You're going to do it because they ask you to do it. You're going to bake the cookies. Same thing with my writing. How have I written so many books while having so many kids? And we homeschooled for a year of that was because I was writing at the kitchen counter, standing there with my laptop, kind of half monitoring some crafts that were happening. And someone else was reading on their own during their reading time. And I'm sitting there typing in my sweatpants that I had been wearing for 3 days. Like, it was not cute. It's not picturesque. It's not a Pinterest board of what a writer's life should be like. And yet I cranked out a couple manuscripts that way. Same thing with a workout. There are times when I have jogged inside my own house in little circles. It's lame and looks weird, feels weird. But you know what? It was the way I could do it. This is in the last couple of years where everyone was home and I didn't want to go, and my husband's on a call and I needed to be around, but I wanted to get my workout in, and I just ran laps in my own little house in the downstairs. Like, this, so dorky. But I wanted to do it and I did it. That is a definite habit of successful people, is they're not trying to make the process cute. Even people who are like documenting, you take one picture and then you actually get to work, right? I mean, just do the work and quit worrying about if it's cute, perfect, idealized. You have music on and you have your cup of tea and you have your colored pens and all that stuff. No, just do it. Just do the work. Get it done. I think this is one of the things that we learn after years and years of parenting, is that like some Halloweens, you took a picture and it was kind of cute, but everyone was an absolute terrorist. The whole time you're trick-or-treating, everyone fought. Somebody vomited, somebody else like just whined and tried to steal someone else's candy. Like, you did the thing, you got out there, but you're not expecting every single time to be a Hallmark movie. Another one that's not a terrible piece of advice is to do it before you're ready. And there are a lot of you right now on the fence about things. I mean, whether or not you should homeschool, stop homeschooling, change jobs, if you should go back to work, finally sign the kids up for something or cancel something kids are doing. Send that email, finish that manuscript, post your first social media post about the business you've been quietly, side hustling. So you're just kind of sitting on it. Now, listen, I am someone who, we sold everything we own, moved across the country. When I said like, hey, I think I want to live in LA, it wasn't like, oh, maybe someday we'll make it to Hollywood. It was like, we made a plan. We sold everything we owned. We packed up our child and our 2 elderly dogs in a U-Haul and we did it. Okay. Same thing with like, I just figured out how to self-publish my books. I had a celebrity talk show with Al Roker, Tony Robbins, Candace Cameron, Dave Ramsey, the Property Brothers, Rachel Ray. Like I had all these people sat down in person having a talk show with them from nothing. It was my idea. I just emailed their publicist and then I packed cameras and lights into my checked luggage and went. Don't wait for somebody to give you permission. Quit making your pros and cons lists and do it before you're ready. Do it before you're 100% certain. If you're a Christian, you pray about it. And if you don't have a clear answer yet, pray, Lord, either open the door or shut the door. And then if you're not sure, you say, I'm going through the door. I'd like for you to be with me in this. If you don't want it to happen, shut her down. Highly effective people are doing things before they're totally ready. They're doing things before they have it totally buttoned up, 100% sure. They're just trying things. And you can always redirect. You can pull out, you can quit, you can change direction, but you don't know to change direction if you never actually start moving. You have to take the first step and go. And so whatever in your family life, your personal life, your professional life, quit waiting to be ready. Quit waiting to have your absolute pro-con spreadsheet with your flow chart of exactly how it's going to work. You don't know. You don't know until you start doing it. So just begin and start before you're ready. Okay, the last thing, I like to keep it like super heavy. On this comedy podcast, honestly, it has been. And that's because life is heavy and things are hard. And if we don't talk about it, then everybody feels alone. I want to tell you that if you are early on in your career, if you're early on in motherhood, if you're young and fabulous and still have a fully functioning metabolism, I need you to know that depression is coming for you. And I know that that's a downer. And I know there are some personalities, and I can think of people in my life that are like, I really can't imagine that person depressed. And I bet that person can't imagine being depressed. But let me tell you what happens. Huge life changes sometimes bring grief, like we've talked about in past episodes, sometimes bring depression. But also, like, as you get older, people you love get sick. Best friends abandon you. People that you thought would always be there move away. Terminal illness, cancer. I said this last week. All of a sudden, you're doing a bunch of funeral slideshows. Your children have serious issues as they get older. It's going to happen. Someone will have a serious issue with a friend group. Someone will have a serious issue academically, mentally. Maybe they'll need to be on medication. Maybe your child, God forbid, gets sick, like ill, like in the hospital. All of this stuff happens. It's coming for you and it sucks. And life is so hard. Okay, these are happy tears. And, I think that we just want to refuse to believe it. That won't be us. That won't be our family. That won't be our kids. That won't be our career. It will. It will. Why am I bringing that up? Because when you are crippled by how heavy and hard life is, let me tell you what's going to save you. Your routines. Okay? When I am drowning in the needs of all my children who I am still not even used to parenting, I'm not even used to it. It's still so new that we have 6 kids. You know what saves me those days? The fact that we have a routine of hugs in the morning. We have a routine of sitting and talking about our day and how we hug and love on them at bedtime. My husband and I, our routine, there are times when you're not really mad at each other, right? You're mad at the situation. You're both upset. Things are really hard. And you know what saves us? That hour at night, whenever all the kids finally shut up. They're finally in their beds, happy, dreaming. And we have an hour to reconnect. And it's like, oh yeah, we're okay. We're all right. We're going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. I wish that I had kept up my routine of working out. I think I've told you, and I don't know if it was a vlog or a past podcast episode where I'm not working out right now, and I wish I was, and I got to figure out a way to put that back in my week where it's just a non-negotiable that I do no matter what. Writing routine, sitting down and writing no matter what, that has saved me. So having the routines are going to get you through the really hard times. Parenting, how you do emotional things, how you do your skincare, self-care, all of those things. There's going to be a time where your world is going to be rocked. And I just didn't realize, I think why this is hitting me so hard is because I just recently talked with some other friends and holy cow, everyone's life is so hard. Everyone's dealing with such big, heavy things. all the time. Like there's no escaping it everywhere you look, which is a great point about how even that mom who seems perfect and has it all together is dealing with heavy things. Even that person that never seems sad and is always happy and bubbly and chatting with everyone and taking care of everyone else, also dealing with heavy things probably. And you know what's going to get you through it until you are emotionally back to where you want to be is sticking to your routines, doing the thing you know to do, doing the thing that is second nature, and it's just how you run like a well-oiled machine. And it doesn't matter if you're wearing your crappy sweatpants. And get through it. One routine at a time, one stacked habit at a time until you get through the valley and you climb back up and you can kind of see again. You get through the mist and the muck and the hard to see, hard to get through each day. And then you kind of start to climb your way out and you're like, okay, all right, we're going to get through this. We can make it through this. We can do this. I hope that this was encouraging and inspiring, because if you do a little bit too much scrolling on the internet, you're going to see things about how you should dress up for the day you want and the job you want. And you should, and also so much talking about like, you should take care of yourself. You know how to take care of yourself? Do the habits and the routines that you know you should do. Self-care is not manicures, pedicures, and bubble baths. And I've talked about that already. But self-care is important to get through it. But the way you can take care of yourself when you are totally depleted and confused and lost and hurting is to do those necessities, those habits, those routines that you've built in that will get you through it. So make sure in the happy times and the good times, I like to say after a break in your routine, it's a good time to reevaluate, like, hey, what are things that we want to change here? What are some things we need to rearrange? Maybe after fall break, maybe after Thanksgiving break, we come back and we change this and get ourselves more set up for success. Because when the bottom drops out, which it unfortunately is going to at some point, you will have set yourself up to survive, to make it through, to still be there for your kids and your husband and make the meals and clean the house and do like the minimum, not take over the world, but be in your emotions, feel your emotions, deal with your emotions, and still take care of what needs to be taken care of.
Okay, like I said, forgot to record my intro and outro for this episode. I hope you will consider liking, subscribing, and turning on the notifications button for this videos. Plus, and remember, see me out in the wild, my writing tips, just walking aimlessly without my phone for an extended period of time, and maybe I look a little lost and I start crying. Those are happy tears.